Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Locker Room Media. And this is going to be our second official episode of our, main podcast, I guess you could say. We've also been doing some videos in the past couple of weeks, obviously in the NFL draft, our mock drafts, kind of our predictions and yada, yada, yada. Now, coming up to the NBA playoffs, it is 8 days until the playoffs start.
There's only a few games left.
Yeah, probably going to be like 4 days when you guys are seeing this. Obviously, we're going to put out a lot of NBA content soon to be. And also, starting on Fridays and Saturdays, I'll probably be doing like an MLB review, hopefully with Gavin if he's there, maybe with YouTube, Brendan. Just kind of do an MLB game review of the week. A couple of games we'll talk about if like something big happens in baseball as well. Like if somebody goes 4 for 5 on a day with the cycle or just some random stuff like that. And bigger news if somebody gets called up, yada, yada, yada. Well, other than that, I think we get straight into this episode of the podcast. By the way, speaking on our social medias, the first video that you go into our YouTube after you subscribe, make sure to turn on the post notification bell too. It's free. You can just unclick. After you go,
takes 3 seconds.
It takes 3 seconds, but not the point. Go check out the social medias. Instagram and Twitter are more breaking news on sports. Instagram, we're probably our most active on. Twitter's here and there. And then TikTok is just kind of fun sports videos that we're just kind of, have fun with. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what the whole entire situation is. But other than that, I think we should dive straight into this. Speaking on the first topic of the day for the NBA playoffs is the Lakers are a 7 seed now. They've dropped from top 5 seed straight to the 7th. They've just plummeted without LeBron and AD. It just hasn't been the same with either of them. LeBron missing a bunch of time due to injuries. What injury did he have again?
I can't quite remember. But also a big factor.
No, it was a sprained ankle. It was a high sprained ankle. He was out for crazy amounts of time. AD was out as well. Didn't he have something in his knee that was injured?
Yeah, and then he came back and got back spasms. But he played last night though. He played last night.
Against the Trailblazers, right?
Yeah, but they lost, but he played,
Yeah, okay. I mean, it's a better part in the step of a greater direction. But in my opinion, with the teams that are looking out to round out the 7 through 10 seed, because I don't know if you guys know, there's now a play-in tournament for the playoffs. I think it's the 7 versus the 10, and then the 8 versus the 9, 1-game series, and then the winner of the set. Wait, can you check on that for me?
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's the 7 and 8 for the 7th seed, and then the 9 and the 10th for the 8th seed. I just have a feeling.
Yeah, the Lakers, they're 2 and 8 in the last 10 games, which is
absolutely
not good at all.
It's plain out atrocious.
And another reason why they're losing so much is because they're missing Dennis Schroeder. He's actually a big part to their team.
I mean, yeah, he's a point guard,
The 7th and 8th seeds will play each other to decide who will be the 7th seed. The loser of that game plays the winner of the 9 through 10 game to determine who will be the 8th seed.
Okay. I guess that makes a little bit of sense. Yeah. So due to the fact of that, I think if the Warriors or Grizzlies play the injured Lakers, I honestly think that the Lakers get out. I think that they can for sure lose one of those games, and then out of the playoffs they go. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they're not looking too good these past few games, though. Definitely not.
No, not at all. When you're missing 3 of your biggest starters at that point, you're not going to be playing good basketball at all. Once you run out of what is their top 5? Like, I'm going to guess Schroeder at the point. Who would be playing shooting guard for them?
KCP.
So KCP is playing shooting guard. Then you have LeBron at small forward, AD at power forward, and then Drummond at center. And if you're missing 3 of those guys in the starting lineup, your lineup's going to take a big hit. Yes, you're still going to be a good team with the bench talent that you have, but once you put the bench talent on the starting lineup, you don't have that bench talent anymore.
Yeah, but they do have Montrezl Harrell, who's a pretty big part to the bench.
I mean, yeah, that too. And you're not missing your starting center in Drummond. Montrezl Harrell will back that up. You also have coming off the bench too. Well, now he's starting. Kyle Kuzma coming off the bench. Like I said, that team is just absolutely insane and stacked.
Yeah. Drummond, I can't see him being a number 1 option. He's been kind of disappointing for the Lakers, to be honest. Yeah. But I'm a Pistons fan. And I know he's just not number 1 option. Maybe a number 3 or 2, but not number 1.
I mean, yeah, he played all right as the number one option here. You have to look at it. Reggie Jackson was kind of the number one option when that trio, him, Blake, and
Yeah.
here. I think Drummond's a phenomenal player, but I don't think he's been the same since after leaving the Pistons. Because with the Pistons, he had a role of you go up, you grab boards with two hands, pass ball down court. That's all you do. That's the only thing you do.
And then do that lousy hook shot. / floater.
Yeah, and then when it misses, you grab board, slap down on the court, and put it right back up. That's the only job he had on the team. That's the only one.
Yep.
Now with when he
and the missed free throws.
Yes, and the missed free throws. I'm so sorry. But like now when he went to the Cleveland, all his job was to sometimes shoot corner threes. I've never seen Drummond warm up corner threes in his life. Why are you trying to make the guy shoot? I don't know. I think he can still live up to the hype if the Lakers start to use him correctly because LeBron. I don't know about you, LeBron and AD can shoot. They can shoot the ball from down court pretty darn well. Especially when you have KCP, an old Piston, who he was a baller. And same thing with Schroeder. They can both shoot the ball decently well. And all you need is Drummond in the paint just to grab the boards. I know AD can do the same thing, but if you just have Drummond there to grab boards, he's going to average 26.5 a game.
Yeah, when Montrezl Harrell joined the team last season, I thought he was going to have a really good year because, you're playing with LeBron. LeBron's going to dish you the ball all the time, but he's been also kind of disappointing this season, which is kind of a little bit.
Well, you also have to look at it like this. Like, yeah, I know it's kind of disappointing, but he was having an all right season in the start, and then they added Drummond after that buyout. And then, when you're putting another center with a higher caliber of play above you, you're obviously going to jump down in points, rebounds, steals, blocks, assists. You're just going to descend in stats at that point.
Yeah.
Well, on to the next topic after the Lakers. We're going to talk about a spot that they used to be a lock in, and that is the top three in each division. In my opinion, if you're not one of these top three teams, you do not have a chance of making it to the finals. That's just my opinion. But can you please tell me the top three teams in each division? I'm pretty sure in the West, it's the Suns, the Jazz, and the Nuggets, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, the Jazz are first with a 49-18 record. Suns are second with 48-19 record. And the Clippers are third with 45-22.
All right. And then the East is, I know the Sixers are number one. I'm going to guess the Bucks and then the Nets.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, all those six teams are championship contenders. All six.
And don't sleep on the Knicks. Don't sleep on the Knicks.
I was just saying that in the group chat earlier. In my opinion, I think the Knicks are very big in title contention. I did just
I don't know about title contention.
Julius Randle is balling out, man.
He's a beast.
They went from worst to first. And you have to admit that. They went from first. No, they went from worst to first.
Yeah, RJ Barrett's also been balling out this season too.
Yeah, he had a rough start to the season, but I know he's been balling out lately.
Yeah, he's been doing really good.
Now, so with that being said, with me saying I think the top three or top four teams in each respective conference are the only championship contenders. Who do you think makes it out of the top 8 or pulls up a big time upset?
Wait, what do you mean by that? Hold on, say it again.
So, like, let's say the number 2 seed. So the number two seed will be playing the 7th seed. Do you think like a big time upset will happen like that? Like the 8th seed will upset the first seed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I could honestly see the Celtics because right now the Celtics are in the 7th seed, and the Bucks are 2nd seed in the Eastern. I can see them. I can see the Celtics upsetting the Bucks definitely.
Yeah, the Bucks and the Celtics kind of have a bit of rivalry going in the past couple of playoffs because they've met every single year for 3 years, if I'm not mistaken. Or is it 2 years?
Yeah.
No, it's 3 years because Kawhi was on Toronto and all of that.
Yeah.
I can for sure see. Okay, so who do you think is going to be the 8th seed? Who's the 8th seed right now?
The Hornets are the 8th seed right now.
Hornets. Yeah, no, I was gonna say the Sixers could possibly get upset if there was like a team that like took some big injury hits. Like if the Nets were down there at like the bottom 8, I could for sure see them upsetting the Knicks. I don't know about that. What about the Heat? Where are they? Aren't they 6?
Yep, they're 6th with a 36-31 record.
And you said, the Nets are in 3rd?
Yep, Nets are 3rd, 43-24.
43-24, and then who's right behind the Nets?
The Knicks, 37-30. Yeah, I don't
If the
know.
Knicks can jump up to the third spot with what? That
No,
Hornets,
I don't think there's enough games left to do that.
I was gonna say if they could somehow do that, that'd be huge for the Heat. But I
But
don't know. What were you saying?
so far, the Knicks would be playing the Hawks. The Hawks are the 5th seed with the 37-31 record. And I think that'd be a really good
Matchup.
round. Yeah.
Matchup. Yeah, I can understand that. I think that's probably going to go to 7. Both teams are kind of evenly matched up, you know?
Yeah. And right now the Wizards are 7-3 in the last 10 games and are sprouting up the standings. I think they're gonna be the 8th seed. They're gonna take the Hornets from the 8th seed.
I'm just saying. I think the Wizards have an actual chance of beating the Sixers. I will come out and say that right now.
Yeah, with Russ and Beal going off, especially
in
Russ.
my opinion, I think Russ has been the best player in the NBA for 2 or 3 years. Not the MVP. I'll come out and say that, but I think he's the best player for the last 3 years.
No.
So why don't you think
that's just not true?
he averages a double every single year? And you can't say that he's stat padding because guess what? You can't stat pad for over 5 years.
Well, you can, but I don't think he's stat padding.
No, because he's probably the top 3 best player in the league. Not saying he's the MVP at any choice.
He's maybe top 10. I don't know about top 3. You're going a little high on him, but
I think Russ is one of the better players in the league.
He is one of the better players, definitely.
There's 2 different categories you can put him in. Best players in the league and then MVPs. I think those are 2 different things. MVPs are most valuable player. In my opinion, I think it's Jokic. Well, you know what? Screw it. Screw this. We're going on to a different topic. Then we'll come back to that one. I want to just talk about like the biggest, like our award winners, kind of. I guess you could say around that. I wouldn't even say it award winners because we're gonna do a separate episode. But I mean like the MVP. Like who do you think the MVP is? Because we're kind of I think it's Jokic, and you can see that because if you take him off the Nuggets, are they still gonna be at that position? They're gonna take a huge drop off. But like if you look at Westbrook and you take him off the team, the Wizards would lose another 10 games.
Yeah.
Speaking, if you take Jokic off that team, they're losing another 20.
Well, if they have Jamal Murray, it maybe be a little bit different, but they don't have Jamal Murray because he's going to be out for the season.
Yeah, he tore his ACL, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I personally speak very highly on Westbrook. I think he's one of the better players in the league. He averages a triple-double every single year with ease. I think that man could, if he tried, he could put up 40 points a night.
Tonight he just tied Oscar Robertson for the all-time triple-doubles. Yeah.
How many?
He just did that tonight.
Well, what was it? What was the stats on the triple-double? Like, how many points, rebounds, assists?
I don't exactly know. Who did they play tonight?
I don't know. Just search up the Wizards game.
Yeah, you're right. It was a close game. They won 133 to 132 in OT.
Okay, so stats.
Box. Hold on, I'm a little lost.
How?
Hold on. I'm gonna find it. Wizards game, box, score. He's definitely the best. I don't know about triple double. Well, no, he's the best at triple doubles in the league, obviously.
Okay, hold on. I already got the stats up, so.
Okay, yeah, you did it quicker than me. He had 33 points.
Look at these stats. 33 points, 15 assists, and 19 rebounds. As a point guard.
Yeah, 19 rebounds is insane.
He almost put up 40 points. And are you looking at Bradley Beal's points?
No, I didn't see that.
Beal dropped 50 tonight.
Oh, for real? He went off.
Beal and West. Jesus, man.
But they needed all that just to win by 1. So that's why I'm not as high on the Wizards as maybe some other people are going to be.
I don't think the Wizards are the greatest team, though. East. I can tell you that.
No,
It's not
no.
well founded at all.
I think they're gonna make the playoffs, but I don't know if they're gonna go very far.
Like I think Hachimura is very underrated. I think he's a great power forward.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Here's my reasoning why the Wizards are not winning. They're not giving Isaac Bonga a minute. This is outrageous. Isaac Bonga should start.
Terrible.
Horrible coaching. No, I think Jokic wins the MVP though. I think that's a no question. I think you can also add Curry to the conversation as well.
Yeah, I've heard people talking about Chris Paul recently too.
Yeah, no, I also seen something on Instagram the other day, the Chris Paul effect. That is absolutely insane. If he's not an all-time MVP candidate, I don't know what you're saying. Because what win percentages, I think of some teams have skyrocketed over 400%.
Yeah,
400, not 4. You understand?
Yeah, right now the Suns this season have a 71 win percentage.
That's absolutely insane because like 3 years ago they were absolutely garbage.
Last year, well, they had a good run in the bubble, but mainly last year they were pretty garbage.
They were the only team that won 8-0 in the bubble.
I know, but I'm saying prior to that they were not very good at all.
Yeah, adding Chris Paul was definitely a big factor to that. So speaking about Chris Paul kind of being an underdog MVP candidate, I guess you could say, let's go on to our biggest underdogs of the year. Teams, players, anybody. Give me your like top 2 or 3.
Jeremy Grant. I'm not being a biased Pistons fan, but Jeremy Grant, he has gone a little bit downhill. Not as much, but not as much as like.
I guess
he hasn't gone that much downhill, but after the All-Star break, he went over a little bit of a slump. But prior to the All-Star game, he was doing amazing. And people had him in the most improved player and stuff, but he's still averaging like 22 points a game this season, and no one's really talking about him for most improved anymore. It's mainly Julius Randle, which I think he will win Julius Randle, and he should. He's been crazy, but Jeremy Grant, I think he needs a little more recognition.
I agree with you. Yeah, one of my underdogs would definitely be Julius Randle. He was an underdog going into the season, expecting I wouldn't even say expecting like the height that he is right now. I wouldn't say that he was expected to put up the numbers and anything like that, or even push the Knicks to a 4 seed. What? How bad were they last year? Like they were under 5.
They were one of the worst teams, I'm pretty sure, last year.
Yeah, and then Julius Randle comes on the team and does this. I'll put Julius Randle as one of my underdogs. I'm also going to put the Miami Heat too. I don't think the Heat have a lot of recognition, but they got Victor. What they have? Victor Oladipo. Is he playing point guard? No. It's probably Gordon Dragic. He's playing
point guard. But yeah.
So they're probably having Victor Oladipo at the 1, Tyler Herro at the 2.
I think it's Duncan that's starting. I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Hold on. Breaking news: Bradley Beal has a hamstring strain. So.
Ooh, that's not gonna be good for the Wizards.
He sat out after he got the 50, and he's just being reevaluated tomorrow. No serious concern. It said the minor strain. But I do think that with going to the finals last year, I mean, yeah, you could say the circumstances weren't the greatest due to the whole bubble and all that, but I think the Heat are definitely one of the bigger underdogs coming into the playoffs this year. Yeah. Bam Adebayo's having a great season. So is
Bam Adebayo's crazy.
Yeah, Tyler Herro kind of stepped off. Jimmy Butler's still putting up Jimmy Butler stats. Like I said, Victor Oladipo, Gordon Dragic, Duncan Robinson. You got a lot of star power and a lot of 3-point shooters on it.
Yeah, Jimmy Butler's just such an impactful player. Like I think the Heat without Jimmy Butler would be fighting for like a play-in spot right now.
Yeah, no, I could. At that point, you have Victor Oladipo, who's, I mean, kind of his whole career, he kind of needed the ball in his hands to put up points.
Not in his Orlando Magic days, I don't really think.
No, I mean, when he was on the Pacers, though, the ball needed to be in his hands. It needed to be good.
He was the best player at the time.
Yeah. I think the Heat were one of the bigger underdogs, too. What about you? You said Jeremy Grant was your number 1 underdog. Who's your number 2?
I was also thinking, this isn't a team, but I was also thinking Norman Powell. He, with his Toronto Raptor days, like in the
past.
I'm blanking right now. Yeah. He was going crazy. He was averaging there was a stretch where he was averaging like like 20 points per game, like probably 25 or something like that. I think he's averaging about 20 or something like that on the year. But he's really good. He hasn't been doing that good for the Trailblazers. Well, he's been doing okay, but not as good as he was for the Raptors.
Aren't the Trailblazers in a playoff spot right now?
6th seed, yeah. Not even fighting for a playing spot. Well, they technically are, but not right now.
Not right now. My final favorites, and like this is gonna be who I think is gonna be in the finals and you two. I think personally, my final predictions, I think it's going to be the Suns versus the Knicks.
Oh.
No, not the Knicks, not the Knicks. You know what? I'm gonna take that back. I'm gonna go with the Suns versus the Heat.
The Heat again?
Yes, I'm gonna say the Heat go back to back and appear in the finals back to back.
So you don't have any faith in the Lakers at all? Even if LeBron, AD, and Dennis Schroeder come back, just perfectly fine. You don't have any faith in them at all?
No.
All right.
I mean, obviously, it's going to be a tough series for everybody, but I think the Suns or the Jazz or even the Suns, Jazz, or Nuggets, I think can all push for a title contention spot. I think any three of those teams can. I think it's going to be hard rounds and division, all those type of matchups and stuff like that to get to the finals. But I think if you put up the Lakers versus the Suns, because yes, LeBron might be coming back full strength, but he just came off a sprained ankle. In my past, I sprained my ankle, and I mean, I wasn't even back to full.
No, he said he doesn't think. He even said in the interview he doesn't think he's ever going to come back to 100% again.
Exactly.
Which is kind of sad, to be honest, but
I mean, yeah, but
he's getting old.
Yeah,
he's getting there.
I mean, sprained ankles is one of the worst injuries you could possibly get because it just stays there. It's not like a broken bone where it's going to get restructured and set all that. So I definitely think the Lakers are going to take a big heat from that. Then again, if you do have AD and Schroeder coming back for the playoffs, you really can't say anything with that. But I personally think, in my opinion, it's going to be the Suns versus the Heat.
All right. I know the Clippers haven't been that good in the playoffs, but I think the Clippers could make a finals run this year. With Kawhi and Paul George. Paul George, I don't think he's going to be pandemic P like he was last season, not doing good at all in the playoffs. I think he's actually going to step it up this season and try to and Kawhi Leonard, Kawhi Leonard's just going to be Kawhi Leonard. Just going to do his Kawhi Leonard stuff. So I think they're going to go all the way to the finals, honestly.
And who are they going to play coming out of the East?
The Nets.
The Nets.
I mean, it's not a hot take at all, but the Nets.
No.
The Nets are the Nets.
I honestly,
especially if James Harden comes back.
I honestly think that out of all the teams that can beat the Nets, I think it's either going to be the Heat or the Bucks, in my opinion. I think those are the only two teams in the East that can actually put up a fight against the.
Oh, in the East. All right. I thought you were talking about
No. In the West, I think the top three teams can put up a fight, and I think the Lakers can too.
You can never count out Cleveland. Colin Sexton's gonna go off for 40 again. No, I'm joking.
No, I mean, even though it is the regular season, you have seen the Nets take some very questionable losses.
Yeah.
But I mean, at some point, it's got to get to a point where it's time for playoffs and everybody's got to up their game.
Yeah, this is definitely gonna be way more entertaining than last season. Last season was just it just felt off because everything, the whole pandemic and stuff, and the bubble just wasn't very entertaining as it should have been. But this season, with the whole playing game and stuff, teams have been trying a whole lot harder for the playing game spot and stuff. It's just gonna be a lot more fun to watch.
Yeah, it gives more teams like more of a purpose to get to that 10 seed and just fight out the rest of the end of the season.
Yeah.
Well, I think that covers up all the topics that we need to talk about for the NBA coming up to the playoffs. We are gonna, the schedule. You guys are actually the night that I think. Wait, hold on. I'm so sorry. I have to look at the upload schedule. So this is coming out Monday. So Wednesday this week, make sure to tune in for our schedule NFL release live stream at night. We're just going to kind of be talking in our instant impacts of what we think is going to happen. Obviously, not a way too early schedule predictions can happen. That'll probably come out in 2 weeks. Because like I said, I want to push out more content with the NBA and the MLB as the NBA season's coming to an end, and the MLB is just thrusting straight into the season, going out in the midseason where some of the best baseball is played, especially at the end of the year too.
Yeah.
So with that coming to an end, we're gonna end it off with our second thing with our podcast. With the thing that we ended off our first Texans Troubles podcast as well, the GOAT of a certain number. We did one last time. Right now, we're gonna do the number 2.
Number 2.
Yes, number
2.
GOAT of any sport who has wore the number 2. Right now we have. So we're gonna put 5 guys out here for me and you to decide. We have number 1, Derek Jeter. Number 2, Kawhi Leonard. Number 3, Moses Malone. Number 4, Kevin Garnett. Number 5, Kyrie Irving. Who's your honest thoughts on who's the greatest player to ever wear the number 2?
I think it's Derek Jeter. I think Kawhi could put up a good like fight, I guess, once his career's all said and done. But I think it's Derek Jeter. His greatness he's just too great, you know. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with you with Derek Jeter. I think he's the greatest player to ever wear the number 2 jersey, especially coming out with the Yankees' success. I have a bit of a kind of a stat list here throughout his whole entire career. His accolades have been absolutely insane through his career as he's recently. I can't even remember how long he retired. It was a couple of years ago. I remember he had a walk-off single or something to end his career off. But he was a 14-time All-Star, 5-time World Series champion, 1-time World Series MVP in 2000. He was the AL Rookie of the Year. He was the 5-time Gold Glove winner and 5-time Silver Slugger Award winner. That's absolutely insane for me.
Yeah, that's the definition of greatness.
That is the definition of greatness, to have all that. And especially 5 World Series championships. Obviously, at that time, the Yankees
that's crazy.
We're a superpower in the MLB, and legitimately nobody can beat them. I mean, you can argue about that today with their pitching staff. Like Garrett Cole's obviously going off. I haven't heard much of the Judge lately. And Carlos Stanton is obviously another amazing player to play on the team.
Yeah.
Obviously the Yankees are up there. I don't think they're one of the greater teams in the league right now. But
I think that they've been a little bit doing really good recently.
I heard they were on a really bad streak. I haven't heard much since, but I heard they were kind of going on a losing streak for a bit. But then again, you have to take into account we're only 30 games in the season.
Yeah,
we're playing a whole season. We're playing 162 games.
Do they have Did they shorten the season this season?
I'm not sure if they did. I think they just kind of kept the season the same because we did kind of start it on opening day, right where it was usually supposed to start. So I think we're just going to go straight until we get to fall baseball and through September and late October, which in my opinion is the best baseball out there because everybody's fighting for that playoff spot, trying to go down. I think in baseball, it's anybody's game at that point. But speaking about baseball, like I said, this upcoming Friday or Saturday, we're going to get an MLB review from you. We're going to try to push those out more consistently. Other than that, I have nothing else to say for this final episode. Well, not final episode, this episode of May for our podcast.
This was a little bit short, this one, I think.
I know. I think it went for a decent amount.
I guess we're just talking the whole time. It just kind of flew by, I guess.
Yeah, that too. And plus, there's only 2 of us. There's not 4 like there were last. Yeah. So that's obviously a big contributor to that. But other than that, I have nothing else to say. Make sure to go hit the subscribe button and the post notification bell. It's free and it only takes 4 seconds. After you're done with that, if you would, we have a social media video in our videos, and it should be at the top of our channel. Has all of the links, and I will, by the way, will be posting our links in the description below. If you guys made it this far, thank you guys so much. Make sure to go check out those links. Other than that, I have nothing else to say. What about you?
Nothing really, no.
All right. Well, other than that, thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode of our second episode of the podcast. I don't know what I'm going to name it, but it's probably going to be something around the NBA playoffs. Other than that, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.